All right, UFC 324. This was one of those nights where the process didn't just work, it put on a clinic. Because we didn't walk out of this card saying, wow, we got lucky. We walked out saying our reads were sharp, our portfolio was built correctly, and the fights played out close to the blueprint across the board. And that's what we're going to do today, a real recap, not just here's what we bet. We're going to talk about how these fights actually played out and why the way they played out is exactly why our portfolio approach is professional. We're talking winner accuracy, fight shape accuracy, where we got paid, and where one swing method capped the ceiling. This is about performance, and UFC 324 was a statement. That's where we're going to start. We called this card at an elite level. We went perfect on winners. 8 fights, 8 correct fighter reads. That's rare. That's not normal variance. That's what happens though when we treat this like a portfolio and not like a casino. On top of that, our strongest pick or our strongest bet had a hit rate of 6 out of 8. And even better, the money didn't come from some random miracle prop. It came from our core reads doing what they're supposed to do. Gaethje, O'Malley, Umar, Natalia, Waldo, Krylov. The foundation did the work. And when the foundation does the work, the ROI takes care of itself. We finished roughly plus 34% ROI on the event. That's a professional win. Now let's go fight by fight. And I want you to listen how close the fights tracked with our betting structure, because that's the difference between good picks and good process. Fight number 1, Gaethje versus Pimblett, a fight of the year and a perfect portfolio capture. The main event for the interim lightweight title. The result was Gaethje by unanimous decision. And this fight was an absolute war. Early fight of the year contender in January. Gaethje came out like Gaethje. Leg kicks, pressure, real damage. He hurt Paddy early and even dropped him, and that was the first big sign that our Gaethje is the better striker read was exactly right. But then here's what made it a classic. Paddy didn't fold. He rallied in rounds 2 through 4 with volume, scrambles, and pure heart. There were moments where he cracked Gaethje back. There were chaotic exchanges, and you could feel the crowd realizing, oh, this might go 25 minutes. And then round 5 was just brutality. Both guys giving and taking, and Gaethje edged it with damage, composure, and control in the championship moments. Now let's talk betting impact. This is why we build structures instead of guessing on one outcome. We cashed Gaethje on the money line, the Gaethje by points or Paddy sub cluster because the fight landed on the decision lane, and we cashed over 3.5 rounds. And our Paddy sub as a hedge lost, which is completely fine. That hedge was insurance against the one world where Gaethje got caught in that chaos. It didn't happen, and we got paid for being right. And that is how you want a main event to behave for a portfolio. Winner, method lean, and time component all lining up. We ended the night on a heater, and the co-main kept it going. O'Malley versus Song was sniper versus pressure, and we called the shape. The result was O'Malley by unanimous decision. This was competitive, and it played out exactly like a range and accuracy versus pressure fight should. O'Malley did what he does best. He used length, movement, and timing to snipe. He was scoring clean counters, keeping Song at the end of shots, and generally winning the cleaner minutes. Song had his best success when he turned it into work. Calf kicks, pressure, attempts to change levels, and force O'Malley to fight at a pace he didn't want. Round 2 especially had moments where Song made it messy enough to slow O'Malley's output, but over 15 minutes, the cleaner work won. O'Malley was sharper in the minutes that mattered. Now the betting side. Our core structure here was O'Malley by points or Song by KO, because that's the fork. Either O'Malley wins minutes or Song lands the bomb. The bomb didn't land, so we cashed the decision path, distance legs cashed, and the Song KO hedge lost. Again, that's normal. Those hedges are danger paths. They're supposed to lose most of the time. They're there because when they hit, they save the portfolio. We didn't need saving, we were right. Now we move into heavyweight, and this was one of the cleanest age and activity reads of the night. Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick Lewis, the exact story we drew up. The result was Waldo by TKO in round 2, and this fight was basically a perfect demonstration of why we were on Waldo's side. Round 1 was slow, probing, measuring. Lewis always looks like he's loading up, and Waldo was disciplined. Then round 2 hits. Lewis slips, and Waldo pounces, ground and pound. Lewis shells up, and there's no real answer. Ref steps in after Lewis looked like he basically gave up. It was the exact Lewis is old and inactive, Waldo is younger and active storyline playing out. Now the betting impact. Our Waldo KO ticket cashed and our doesn't go the distance leg cashed, while the Lewis KO hedge missed. We're on the more stable side, and we acknowledge Lewis always has a puncher's chance. He didn't land it, we got paid. Now let's hit the fight that capped the ceiling, because it's the only one where the fight played out with the right winner but the wrong method. Jean Silva versus Arnold Allen, where we won the winner but the method flipped the ceiling because the result was Jean Silva by decision. And this was a legit high-paced fight. Allen came in technical early, volume, clean looks, trying to win minutes. But Silva's pressure and power were the difference maker over time. And what really mattered here is that Silva mixed it up. He created chaotic sequences and he made the exchanges feel heavier. So even when Allen had moments, Silva's aggression and physicality edged it. Now here's where it hit our portfolio. We nailed the winner read, Silva won, and we predicted that. That's why we were 8 out of 8, but we were positioned for Silva inside the distance. And the fight went the opposite, went to a decision. So what happened wasn't we missed the fight, we missed the finish. And that matters because method misses don't just lose one bet, they flip multiple tickets, singles, parlays, ceiling plays, from wins into losses. So this was a swing fight. If Silva gets the finish, this night becomes legendary. Instead, he wins by decision, and we still have a great night, but the ceiling does get capped. This is the key difference between casual betting and professional portfolio betting. Even on our worst fight, we still had the correct fighter. We just didn't get the payout version we wanted. So let's talk about the cleanest decision on the card. And that was Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas, a chess match. And our decision read cash there. The result was Natalia Silva by decision. And this one was a fight of small moments. It wasn't a blowout, it was a chess match. Silva was more active in key windows, especially early and late, and she won the who's doing more optics. Rose had a strong second round with control time and moments where she made it kind of fight out of it. But over 3 rounds, Silva edged the moments that matter, activity, sharp exchanges, and key scramble sequences. It goes the distance and the decision read cashes. The betting impact was that Silva's decision was one of our cleanest strong picks, and it landed, distance legs cashed, and the Rose sub hedge lost. Again, perfect, because Rose by sub is the danger path, and that value was at plus 2,000. The danger path didn't show up. Now, the next one that we got was a war that ended late, which is exactly why we liked it. That was Krylov versus Bukauskas, late violence, and that caused the winner to cash. The result was Krylov by KO late in round 3 with seconds remaining. I jumped off the couch for this one. This fight was exactly what it looked like on paper. Competitive early, messy exchanges, both guys having moments, and then Krylov's power showed up late. And that matters because a lot of bettors assume violence has to be early. But some fights are attrition violence. They break late, and that's what this one was. The betting impact, Krylov, moneyline cashed. And because it did end in a finish, our doesn't go the distance idea cashed too. One parlay structure didn't cooperate elsewhere because of the Jean Silva outcome, but this fight itself delivered exactly what we needed. Now we go on to one of the most dominant performances of the night. That's Umar versus Figgy, a clinic, and we took the sharp lane there. The result was Umar by unanimous decision. Umar basically put on a control clinic, wrestling, takedowns, top work, stifling Figgy's power. And the key detail is Figgy never really got to be Figgy. There was no open space to set traps, no rhythm. Every time he tried to get going, Umar shut it down. So this was lopsided. It went the distance, and the cards reflected it. The betting impact that we had was Umar by a decision cashed, the distance cashed, and the Figgy hedge missed, and that's again what we expected. This was one of those fights where being too cute, quote unquote, trying to predict a finish is how people lost money. We didn't do that. We took the clean lane and cashed it. Now, last one, we got the other miss that was on the card, and this is the one that reminds everyone why round one props are leverage plays. Gautier versus Pulyaev, winner was right, but the round one finish didn't show up. So we had Gautier, but the result was a decision for him. He clearly imposed himself. He had the size and power edge, controlled the fight and won the rounds, but the opponent survived. The minutes stacked up, and the early KO we positioned for didn't materialize. And this is a classic round one KO variance trap. If the guy lives through the first storm, the whole fight can settle into something slower. So the betting impact was our round one KO exposure lost, including the parlay leg. But again, that's why we treat those as ceiling plays. They're not the foundation of our portfolio. And the reason this didn't hurt the night is because our foundation was so strong. So let's just highlight the parlay story where we won a parlay. One of the biggest contributors to the night was our structural parlay. It wasn't a pray for chaos parlay. A structural parlay was built on fight shape. So distance reads and a decision outcome that matched how fights tend to play. It cashed and anchored the night. The parlays that we missed were ceiling killers, Silva not finishing, Gauthier not getting the early KO. That's literally the difference between a strong night and a legendary screenshot night. The funny part is we still walked away with a strong ROI, which brings us to the real takeaway. If you want the honest story of UFC 324, it's this. We were elite winners on 8 for 8. We were strong on the strongest picks. 6 for 8, we posted a strong event ROI of plus 34%, and the profit came from the core reads, not the long shot luck. That's the whole point of this approach. We don't need miracles, we don't need chaos, we build the portfolio that wins when we're right on the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are dialed in on scorecards, research, analysis. Even the fights where one method swings against us still end as big wins. So that's how you know we're doing this the right way. So salute to everybody who tailed, supported, and watched the process. UFC 324 was a statement night. And the scary part is we weren't even perfect on the ceiling plays, which means the upside on future cards is real. Next up, we roll this momentum straight into UFC 324. First, we drop our primer, which is already up. Go check that out. The talking points, the narratives, what to watch. Then we do our picks and best bets using my proprietary scorecard. If you want that, make sure you're subscribed. Comment below what was more insane to you, going 8 for 8 on the winners, or how close Silva Allen was to turning it into a great legendary night. What was your pick on that one? All right, that's it. We're just getting started. See you next time.